dimly lit office. A man's voice begins with the words, "I believe in America." This is Bonacera, a funeral director, sitting before Don Vito Corleone on the day of his daughter's wedding. He tells a heartbreaking story. His daughter was beaten by two young men. They were arrested, but the American justice system failed him. The men received suspended sentences. Bonacera feels betrayed. Now, desperate for true justice, he comes to Don Corleone. The Don listens quietly. He is calm, thoughtful, intimidating without raising his voice. He explains the reality. "Why did you go to the police first? If you had come to me in friendship, then the scum who ruined your daughter would already be suffering." Don Corleone refuses to kill them outright, but promises they will suffer for what they did. This opening makes one thing clear. The Corleone family's power lies not in loud threats, but in quiet, decisive control. From the office, the camera moves outside into the daylight. The contrast is sharp. Here, the celebration is in full swing. Connie Corleone's wedding. Don Corleone's only daughter. Italian traditions fill the air. Music, laughter, dancing. Guests line up with envelopes of money, paying their respects. By Sicilian custom, no request can be refused on the day of the Don's daughter's wedding. This is why his office is full of petitioners. Each one brings a problem. Each one expects the Don's help. Meanwhile, outside we meet Michael Corleone. A decorated war hero, he arrives with his girlfriend Kay Adams. Unlike the rest of the family, Michael seems separate from the business. He explains to Kay who the people are: Luca Brasi, the family's enforcer, rehearsing his words to pay respect to the Don. He tells her about Johnny Fontaine, the famous singer and godson of Vito. Michael says calmly, "That's my family, Kay. It's not me." Back in the office, Johnny Fontaine pleads with the Don. He wants a movie role that could save his career. The studio head refuses to cast him. Don Corleone listens, then promises help. Later, Tom Hagen, the family consigliere, is sent to Hollywood to negotiate. At the wedding, there is joy, but also shadows of power. FBI agents park outside, taking down license plate numbers of expensive cars. The world knows who is here. The Corleones are one of the 5 families of New York. Their influence runs deep. Now we see Don Corleone in action again. He instructs Tom Hagen to take care of business. He gives orders about favors, about loyalty. Every handshake, every word at this wedding is tied to obligation. The Don's calm voice hides the weight of debts being created. The wedding fades, and soon the story shifts to Hollywood. Tom Hagen sits down with Jack Woltz, the powerful studio head. Woltz refuses to give Johnny Fontaine the role. He mocks him, even mocks the Corleones. But the next morning, Woltz wakes up screaming in his mansion. In his bed lies the severed head of his prized racehorse. Blood stains the sheets. The message is brutal and clear. No one says no to the Godfather. Back in New York, Don Corleone continues running the family empire. Gambling, unions, politicians, all under his hand. Then comes a new proposal. Virgil Sollozzo, known as the Turk, requests a meeting. Sollozzo is backed by the rival Tattaglia family. He proposes that the Corleones join him in the narcotics business. He offers millions in profits and protection from the politicians on his payroll. But Don Corleone is cautious. He does not trust drugs. Gambling, liquor, unions, these are businesses he can control. But drugs bring too much risk, too much political heat. Politicians will turn against him. The Don refuses Sollozzo's offer. He is polite but firm. This refusal, however, is not taken lightly. Tension builds. Michael continues to live outside the family business. He takes Kay out for Christmas shopping. But trouble is already moving in the background. Sollozzo, denied and insulted, prepares his move. One winter afternoon, Don Vito Corleone buys fruit from a market stall. Suddenly, shots ring out. Assassins ambush him. The Don falls, riddled with bullets, bleeding on the street. The great Godfather has been struck down. News spreads like fire. The Corleone family scrambles in chaos. Sonny, the hot-headed eldest son, takes charge. Michael hears the news in a newspaper. His quiet life, his distance from the family business, is about to end. The first act closes with uncertainty. The Don clings to life in a hospital. The Corleone family braces for war. And Michael, once determined to live apart, begins to feel the pull of his family's destiny. The city is restless. News spreads quickly. Don Vito Corleone, the most powerful mafia patriarch in New York, has been shot. His bodyguards are gone, bribed or careless. The Don barely survives the ambush. Sonny Corleone, the eldest son, takes control. Hot-tempered, impulsive, he is not his father. Where Don Vito moved with patience, Sonny acts with rage. He vows revenge on Sollozzo, the Turk, who is clearly behind the attack. Tom Hagen, the family consigliere, is kidnapped by Sollozzo and his men. In a tense scene, Sollozzo warns Tom, "The Don is finished. The business must move forward." He offers peace, but only if the Corleones join the narcotics deal. Sollozzo insists, "Sonny's hot-headed. He'll come around. Just talk to him." But Sonny does not bend. He shouts, swears, and prepares for war. Meanwhile, Michael Corleone, still the outsider, rushes to the hospital where his father is recovering. He finds the corridors empty. Nurses whisper nervously, "Something is wrong." Michael realizes the guards have been pulled away. The Don is vulnerable. Killers are coming to finish the job. With quick thinking, Michael moves his father's bed to another room. He whispers gently to the unconscious Don, "I'm with you now, Dad." Then he stands outside the hospital with Enzo, a humble baker who once asked the Don for help. Together, they pretend to be armed guards, their hands trembling in their pockets. Car passes slowly. The hitmen see them and hesitate. They drive away. For the first time, Michael has protected his father with cunning and courage. Soon after, Captain McCluskey, a corrupt police officer on Sollozzo's payroll, arrives. He punches Michael hard in the face, breaking his jaw. This humiliation marks a turning point. Michael is no longer an observer. He is now a soldier of the family. Back at the Corleone home, Michael sits with Sonny, Tom, and the others. He suggests something radical. Sollozzo and McCluskey must be eliminated. Sonny laughs at first, thinking Michael is joking. But Michael insists. He explains calmly how he could meet Sollozzo under the pretense of negotiation. They would search him, but if someone planted a gun in the bathroom beforehand, he could kill both Sollozzo and McCluskey. The room goes silent. Everyone sees the change in Michael. The quiet war hero, once separate from the family, now speaks like a Corleone. Clemenza, the loyal capo, is tasked with preparing the weapon. In one of the film's most famous moments, he instructs a young soldier, "Leave the gun, take the cannoli." The night of the hit arrives. Michael, dressed formally, waits nervously as a car picks him up. The men drive him deep into the Bronx. Every shadow, every silence is heavy with tension. At the restaurant, Michael sits across from Sollozzo and McCluskey. The Turk tries to persuade him, "Your father's old-fashioned. Sonny is hot-headed. You can talk sense." Michael listens quietly, his face calm, but his eyes burning. At the agreed moment, he excuses himself to the bathroom. Slowly, carefully, he retrieves the hidden revolver from behind the toilet. He pauses, breathes, and steels himself. Back at the table, Sollozzo continues speaking in low tones. McCluskey chews his meal, unconcerned. Then suddenly, two deafening shots. Michael kills Sollozzo with a bullet to the head. A split second later, McCluskey slumps forward, his throat torn by a gunshot. Michael drops the gun as instructed. The sound of a train roars in the distance. The city knows war has begun. That night, Michael disappears. He is sent into hiding in Sicily while New York descends into bloodshed. Sonny unleashes his fury, striking back at rivals. The streets of New York turn into a battlefield of vendettas and ambushes. In Sicily, Michael finds a strange peace. The rolling hills, the quiet villages, the ancient traditions remind him of where his family came from. For the first time, he feels connected to his roots. He moves under protection, guarded at all times, but slowly begins to settle. It is here that he meets Apollonia, a beautiful local woman. Their romance blossoms quickly, sincere and innocent. They marry in a traditional Sicilian wedding. Music, food, laughter. For a brief moment, Michael finds love and hope far from the violence of New York. But peace never lasts. Back in America, the war rages on. Sonny's rage grows uncontrollable. Rival families test the Corleone's strength. Betrayal brews within the family's allies. And New York City is drowning in blood. The gang war, ignited by the shooting of Don Vito and the assassination of Sollozzo and McCluskey, rages on. Rival families strike against the Corleones at every chance. At the head of it all is Sonny Corleone. Impulsive, passionate, brutal, he answers every insult with violence. His enemies learn to provoke him, knowing his temper makes him reckless. One day, Sonny receives word. His sister Connie has been beaten again by her abusive husband, Carlo. Furious, Sonny storms out without thinking. He speeds through the city, determined to punish Carlo. But it's a trap. At a toll booth on the Long Island Causeway, Sonny is ambushed. Gunmen step out, surrounding his car. Bullets tear through his body in a hail of gunfire. Sonny is killed instantly, his body riddled with holes. News of Sonny's death devastates the family. Vito Corleone, frail but alive after his recovery, breaks down in grief. His hot-headed eldest son is gone, leaving a dangerous vacuum. The Don realizes the war must end. He calls for peace with the rival families. At the meeting, he agrees to their terms, even allowing narcotics traffic in limited areas. But beneath his calm words lies a quiet resolve. Vengeance will come later, through patience. Meanwhile, in Sicily, Michael is living his fragile dream with Apollonia. She is radiant, full of life, and Michael begins to imagine a future with her. But the enemies of the Corleones have long arms. A traitor within Michael's circle arranges his death with a planted car bomb. On a quiet afternoon, Apollonia prepares to surprise Michael with his car. But Michael is delayed. She steps inside, smiling. A moment later, the car explodes in a fireball. Michael watches in horror as the love of his life is obliterated before his eyes. The screen fills with flames, echoing his loss and fury. The Sicily idol is destroyed. Michael hardens. His innocence is gone forever. Back in America, Don Vito senses the end of his reign. He gathers his strength and counsels Michael, who has secretly returned to New York. He explains the reality of power, of betrayal, of survival. He warns Michael, one of their trusted allies will betray them. The traitor will arrange a meeting with the enemy, pretending to protect Michael. That's how the trap will be revealed. The Don also admits something more personal. He never wanted this life for Michael. He dreamed his youngest son would be a senator, a governor, someone who could stand tall in the sunlight, not live in shadows. But destiny has chosen differently. As the Don plays with his grandson in the garden, the weight of years catches up to him. In a quiet moment, among the tomato plants, Vito Corleone collapses from a heart attack. The great Godfather is gone. The era of Don Vito ends not in a blaze of violence, but in the stillness of a Sicilian garden. Now, the Corleone family turns to Michael. Calm, calculating, and colder than ever, Michael prepares to become the new Godfather. In meetings with Tom Hagen and the remaining capos, Michael explains his vision. The Corleone family will not cling to New York forever. Instead, they will move their operations west to Nevada, into casinos and legitimate enterprises. Drugs bring too much heat. Politics in New York are unstable. Las Vegas offers cleaner money and influence without constant bloodshed. Michael's decision stuns some of the old guard, but he delivers it with quiet authority. He is no longer asking, he is commanding. Fredo, stationed in Las Vegas, is already under the influence of Mo Green, a brash casino owner. When Michael visits Nevada, he tries to negotiate with Green, offering to buy into the casino business. Green mocks him, refuses the deal, and even insults Fredo. Michael says nothing, but his silence is sharper than any threat. His eyes reveal what Green cannot see. His fate is already sealed. Back in New York, Michael continues to consolidate. He remembers his father's warning. The traitor will reveal himself. He will arrange a meeting. That's how you'll know. Soon, the prophecy comes true. Tessio, one of the family's most trusted capos, approaches Michael with a plan. He suggests a peace meeting with Barzini, the Corleone's most powerful rival. Tessio insists it's safe, that it's the smart move. But Michael sees through it instantly. Tessio is the betrayer. Just as his father predicted, the setup has been made. Michael agrees politely, concealing his knowledge. Tessio has signed his own death warrant. Meanwhile, Kay continues to live in the shadow of Michael's world. She loves him, but she senses the distance, the secrecy. She asks when he will finally make the family legitimate. Michael promises her. Within 5 years, the Corleone family will be completely clean. He speaks with conviction, but even Kay sees the coldness in his eyes. She does not yet know the truth, that Michael's path to legitimacy will be paved with blood. The climax begins with a striking contrast. Michael stands in church, serving as Godfather at the baptism of Connie and Carlo's baby. The priest asks him, "Do you renounce Satan?" Michael replies, "I do." As the holy words echo inside the church, the screen shifts to the streets. Michael's orders are being carried out. One by one, his enemies fall. Strachey, the old rival, is gunned down. Cuneo, trapped in a revolving door, is shot repeatedly. Tatalia is executed in a hotel room. And finally, Barzini, the greatest threat, is ambushed on the courthouse steps and killed in broad daylight. The montage is chilling. Sacred hymns mix with gunfire. Baptismal water is sprinkled on an infant's head while blood flows across New York streets. Michael, calm and expressionless, renounces Satan even as he becomes the devil his father never wanted him to be. When the massacre ends, Michael Corleone is undisputed head of the most powerful crime family in America. But Michael's work is not finished. One final betrayal remains to be punished. Connie's abusive husband, Carlo, was involved in Sonny's murder. The trap at the toll booth was set with his cooperation. Now Michael calls him in. He speaks softly, reassuringly. He tells Carlo that he knows the truth, but promises him safety if he confesses. Michael's calmness convinces him. Carlo admits his role, thinking he will be spared. Michael embraces him. "Don't worry, Carlo. You're out of the family business. You won't be harmed." Carlo breathes in relief. He is escorted into a waiting car. But once inside, Clemenza strangles him with a wire, killing him instantly. The message is absolute. Betrayal within the family is unforgivable. Connie storms into Michael's office afterward, screaming hysterically. She accuses him of killing her husband, of destroying everything. She cries, shouts, and pleads with Kay to see the truth. Michael, cool and unshaken, dismisses her. He tells Kay, "She's hysterical. Don't pay any attention." His voice is steady, his face unreadable. Kay, unsettled, asks Michael directly, "Is it true? Did you have Carlo killed?" Michael looks at her, his eyes sharp and cold. After a long pause, he answers, "No." Kay studies his face, desperate to believe him. Relieved by his denial, she embraces him. But then comes the final, unforgettable image. As Kay leaves the room, she turns back and watches. Men gather around Michael, kissing his hand, addressing him as Don Corleone. The door is closed in her face, literally shutting her out of his world. The transformation is complete. Michael Corleone, once the innocent son, once the war hero, has become the Godfather.